Hello, in this video, I want to go through all the cards that I would include if I was going to build a Katara Waterbending Master Commander deck, focused on casting a ton of spells on our opponent's turn, and enjoying drawing a ton of cards to build up those resources to use on our opponent's turn. First up, I have Etherize. 4 mana, return all attacking creatures from their owner's hands. Cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you get an experience counter. Whenever our commander attacks, you may draw a card for each experience counter you have. If you do, discard 1. Great cards cast in your opponent's turns. If they go to attack you, put their whole board back in their hand. Amphibian Downpour, 2 and a blue flash storm. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog creature with base power toughness 1/1. It's a flash spell. The truth is that you can just play all the flash spells in this deck, and they always reward you by giving you experience counters. And then storming off if you're already counter caster. If you already cast a counter spell or just, 1 blue scry 1 blue ponder, you can storm off pretty easily. An offer you cannot refuse. For 1 blue, it's an instant. Counter target non-creature spells. Controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Super cheap. Get that experience counter. It's difficult for people to remove your experience counters. So giving yourself as many experience counters as early as possible and as fast as possible is going to really pay off for you. Aqueous Form. 1 blue enchanted creature. Enchanted creature can be blocked whenever it attacks scry 1. It's mostly to attempt to protect our commander. Our commander has to attack for us to draw the cards, so making it so it can't be blocked prevents it from being blocked and killed. So really, it's just to protect our commander. Scrying 1 before we draw a ton of cards doesn't really matter because we're going to draw 3, 4, 5 cards. But Arcane Denial, instant counter target spell. Controller may draw up to 2 cards for the next turn upkeep. You draw a card for the next turn's upkeep. So replaces everyone's cards. Just a counter spell, just to hold it up. Arcane Signet, you need to be able to ramp in a blue deck. I do have Leyline Anticipation on this build, so all of your spells would have flash, so you cast on your opponent's turn eventually, but you just need a ramp in blue. You're not playing green, you're not playing red, you're not playing white. Archmage Emeritus, for 2 and a blue, it's a 2/2. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Tons of instant and sorcery spells are going to be going on here. Morale Chief of Compliance, 1 blue and a 1 for a 1/3. Instant and sorcery spell as you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. We're going to have a lot of counter magic, and making it so all of our spells cost 1 less is great. Bender's Waterskin, 3 colors for an artifact. Untap this artifact during each other player's untap step. Tap, add 1 mana any color. So if you have a lot of 1 or 2 mana spells, you can cast them on each of your opponent's turns. That's 3 turns. 3 spells, because this untaps and gives you back more mana every single turn. Every single of your opponent's turn. Everyone's turn. Which is fantastic in this counter spell reaction based deck. Brainstorm is 1 blue. Draw 3. Put 2 cards in your hand. Top your library in any order. It's good if you're just going to draw a bunch of cards anyway. It's only 1 blue and it's a spell you could cast on your opponent's turn. It's even better if you're playing the fetch lands. So you're playing Evolving Wilds, Tamar Expanse. Those are not great in this build. But I would say that the fetch lands, Scalding Tar and the Search for a Mountain or a Plains, Mountain or Island, could be playable, especially if you play Brainstorm. Consider 1 blue, surveil 1, draw a card. Just get yourself experience counters and draw more cards. Counterspell, good old counterspell. Cyclonic Rift is an instant, so you can cast this on your opponent's turn. I think most blue decks are just play Cyclonic Rift, but I think it's important to note that you can cast this during your opponent's turn. Decanter of Endless Water, you have no max hand size, and it taps for mana. Whenever you attack, you're going to draw a lot of cards. Once this gets up to 4, 5, 6, you're going to have a huge hand constantly. So being able to have no max hand size is great. Dreamtide Whale, 2 colorless and a blue for a 7/5 with Vanishing 2. Whenever a player casts their second spell, each turn proliferate. So you can proliferate back up the Vanishing counters. You can also proliferate up your experience counters. And that says whenever any player casts their second spell, not just you. So your opponents are going to double spell. They're going to do all kinds of nice things. That's going to have you proliferate. Eluge, the Shoreless Sea, 1 blue for XX. Its power and toughness equals the number of islands you control. Whenever it enters or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. It's an island in addition to its other types for as long as it has a flood counter on it. The first instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn costs blue or 1 colorless less to cast for each land you control with a flood counter on it. So this just introduces more and more flood counters onto your things. You can put it on your opponent's things, but it only makes them cheaper for each land you control with a flood counter on your land. So you'd want to put on your own lands. So if you're playing any colorless lands, like I'm going to have Access Tunnel in this deck that makes this creature be unblockable so he doesn't die, that you can make that into an island as well. Experimental Augury. 1 and a blue, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put one of them into your hand on the rest in the bottom of your library in any order, proliferate. So this gives you an experience counter if you cast this instant, and then gives you another experience counter for proliferating. Fairy Mastermind, 1 blue, 1 for a flash flyer. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, draw a card. 3 and a blue, each player draws a card. It's a flash spell, it's a creature, it can be a blocker, it rewards you with drawing more cards. Fierce Guardianship, good old free counter spell. Flux Channeler, whenever you cast a non-creature spell proliferate, you're going to cast a lot of non-creature spells. Force of Negation and Force of Will, both free counter magic if you want to play that version of deck. Frantic Search, 2 colorless and a blue for an instant. Draw 2, discard 2, untap 3 lands. This allows you to cast more than 1, more than 2, more than 3 spells in the same of your opponent's turn. Because it does not say whenever you cast your first spell during an opponent's turn. It just says whenever you cast a spell during your turn. Katara would reward us. So being able to have your lands untap and just cycle through a little bit more of your deck is great. High Fae Trickster, 3 and a blue for a 4/2 flash flyer. And you may cast spells where they have flash. So that's everything. High Tide makes it so all of your islands tap for additional blue. And it's no longer legal to pauper. Hullbreaker Horror. Hullbreaker Horror, for 5 colors, a blue, it's a 7/8 flash. It can't be countered. Whenever you cast a spell, you either return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, or you return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. I play Hullbreaker Horror in my Send Triplets deck now, which is a counterspell reaction-based deck, and being able to return non-land permanents as your countering spells is fantastic. Hydroelectric Specimen. It's a flash spell, so you can cast on your opponent's turn. It enters, you may change target of targets or sorcery spell with a single target to this, and it's flash. So you can do this on your opponent's turn, or it's just a bad island on the backside. It taps for blue, but on turn 1, if you have nothing to do, you can have it come into play tapped. You can play it through lights, have it come into play untapped. It's a bad land on one side and a pretty good card in this deck on the other. This is better than just your typical, play the dual-sided lands in your deck, because it's a flash spell. Into the Flood Maw. 1 blue, gift a tapped fish. Return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. If the gift with promise, instead return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Just some good old unsummon stuff. Isochron Scepter. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile an instant card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your hand. 2 tap, you may copy the exiled card. If you do, you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Lots of fun things that we could put under the Isochron Scepter of this deck. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. 1 blue. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you wouldn't get instead. Oh, you found my win con. +1, target player puts the top 2 cards of your library into their graveyard, draw a card. -8, draw 7, then win if your card library has no cards in it. Laboratory Maniac, if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. You're going to draw a lot of cards in this deck. I think winning through Jace and Laboratory Maniac are a real possibility. Leyline of Anticipation, you can start with it on the battlefield. If not, it's a 4-mana enchantment that gives all your spells flash. So you can cast everything on your opponent's turn. Lightning Greaves. Equipped creature has haste and shroud. Gotta protect our commander best we can. And giving it haste means it can attack instantly, even if it is removed. Mox Amber. We have a very cheap commander, only 2 mana. So being able to, pump out a 0 colorless artifact that taps for a blue is great. Mystic Remora. 1 blue for enchantment. Cumulative upkeep of 1. Whenever an opponent casts a 9-creature spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 4. Able to draw a lot of cards, or at least slow down our opponents. Mystic Sanctuary is a land island. When it enters tapped, unless you control 3 or more islands, and enters battlefield untapped, you may put target instant or sorcery card from your own side of your library. Recycle something. And if you're going to play the fetch land version of the deck that I was talking about, Scald, Intarn, etc., this is an island. You can go fetch this with your fetch lands. Mystic Tutor gets a sorcery instant card. Whatever you need, puts it on top. Narset's Reversal. Copy target instant or sorcery spell, then return to its owner's hand. You may choose new targets for the copy. So, it's a return spell that you also get. It's pretty nice. Negate, counter target 9-creature spell. Opt, 1 blue, get an experience, draw a card, scry 1. Pognified, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Replace it with an imp, but it's an instance. Psychosis Crawler, whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses a life. This is another way that we can win the game. That just means you just have to draw 40 cards, and you're drawing 5, 6, 7 a turn. Your opponents are also attacking each other. They're taking damage from their shock lands. Lots of possibility. Rapid hybridization. 1 blue, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. That creature's controller creates a 3/3 frog, lizard creature token. 1 blue, instant is great. Reality shift. Exile target creature. Its controller manifests the top card of our library. We're now into the removal suite. It's also all instants, so you get experience counters. Rewind, counter target spell, untap up to 4 lands, allows you to have the mana open to do the Met thing on the next player's turn. Ristic Study, don't really need to explain that. Sapphire Medallion, you're playing a mono blue deck that probably wants to cast more than one spell in a turn, so being able to have our spells cost 1 less with a non-capping mana rock means that this can essentially add 2 or 3 mana per turn for just 2. Seagate Restoration, 7 mana, draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand plus 1. You have no max hand size the rest of the game. And on the back side, it enters tapped unless you pay 3 life. Again, that is just a bad island or a phenomenal draw spell, whatever part of the game it's be. Silver Shroud Costume is 2 colorless for an artifact equipment. It has flash. Whenever it enters, attach it to target creature you control. It gains Shroud and it can't be blocked. Fantastic on this deck. We don't want to be blocked. We want to get protection and we want flash. Great card. Sink into Stupor. Instant. Return target spell or mountain permanent an opponent controls to owner's hand. And on the backside, it's just a bad island. Slip out the back. Put a plus counter target creature and it phases out. Probably going to do this to our commander unless there's really something on the opponent's side that we want to keep here. But protecting our commanders and Fordham. Snap. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Untap up to 2 lands. Lets you continue that cycle. Snapcaster Mage. When it enters, target instant or sorcery card in your favor against Flashbiting Slimestorm. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. Good. Soul Ring, tap, add colorless. I don't really know why I read it, but Soul Ring. Strix Serenade, counter target artifact, creature, or planeswalker spell. And then Swan Siren counter targets artifacts. Enchantment, instant, or sorcery. Artifact, creature, planeswalker, enchantment, instant, sorcery. Replaces them with the 2/2 bird. One of my pet peeves is that the text on Strix Serenade is so much bigger than the text on Swan Siren. Swift Boots, Hexproof and Haste, Protection, and instantly being able to attack with our commander is great. Tolran Sky Summoner gives us a lot of blockers, potentially a win con, but mostly just blockers, I think. Tezzret's Gambit, draw 2, then proliferate, and then you can make it cost 3 or 4 mana. It is a sorcery, though. Fastest Oracle, another way to win. Thought Vessel, no max hand size. It's great in this deck. We're going to draw a lot of cards, and it ramps us, unwind, counter target non-creature spell, untap up to 3 lands. Fantastic if you want to continue casting multiple spells in the same of your opponent's turns. Wan Shi Tong Librarian, Flash, Flying, Vigilance, it enters, put X++ encounters on him, then draw X cards, you earn it down. Whenever an opponent searches a library, put a ++ encounter on it and draw a card. Your opponents are going to be searching the libraries. They're going to be searching for lands, for artifacts, for anything we need. Wave Break Hippocamp, 3 mana, 2/2. Whenever you cast your first spell during an opponent's turn, draw a card. It itself does not have flash, but it itself is good in the flash deck. Windfall, each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. Cycles, and then, if your hand's empty or if you have a ton of cards, you would have them draw a ton of cards. Wizard class, 1 blue, you have no max hand size. You have no max hand size. 3 mana, draw 2. 5 mana, whenever you draw a card, put a ++ counter to a creature you control. And then fill up your commander or other cards. Karn's Bastion adds a colorless. You're only playing 1 color, so colorless lands are not too suspicious. 4 mana, tap, proliferate. Great if you have extra mana. Mist Rise Village can make the next spell you cast this turn be uncounterable. This land will always come into play tapped since we're not playing mountains or forests. So, Otawara Soaring City just adds a blue, or you can channel it away, discard it, return target artifact, creature, planeswalker, or enchantment to its hand. Cost less for each legendary creature you have. Reliquary Tower, another colorless land. You have no max hand size. Rogue's Passage can make it so our commander can't be blocked, and Access Tunnel can make it so target creature with power 3 or less, which is also our commander, can't be blocked. Those are all the cards that I would include if I was going to build a Katara Waterbending Master Commander deck. I do have a deck list in the description to Moxfield. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and may your top decks be ever in your favor. Thank you.